Hello everyone, Devon here, welcoming you back to Devon's English Connection. If you are watching this video, you have likely already viewed my introductory video on English as a linking language and my second video about social work. Because this is the third video in a four-part series, I very much encourage you to watch said series in order. The topics, while separate, are connected to each other in a very specific way. Understanding that link is essential if one wishes to comprehend the full breadth, scope, and importance of each subject. So, if you have viewed videos 1 and 2, you are no doubt all set to delve into the topic of leadership. Let's get started. Last time, I spoke about different types of social work that we can engage in to strengthen our communities. I tied participation in social work to honing one's leadership skills. This time, I want to give you my thoughts about why our world is lacking effective leaders. We will explore which characteristics should be evident in outstanding leaders, which traits are surefire indicators of poor leaders, and precisely how involvement in social work provides opportunities to perfect one's leadership skills. Within our communities, there are people who happen to be at the right place, at the right time, to step into leadership roles. When it comes to garnering support for more competitive positions, well-known folks often have an edge over lesser-known folks. But one does not need to be popular to recognize a problem and then create one's own position to address it. This happens often in the US. Nonprofits commonly result as a means of addressing targeted issues. Sometimes charitable creators are just the right people for the job, and sometimes they are not. But if they can decide, so too can you. You do not need anyone's permission to inspire, teach, or lead. It is your right, and in my view, your responsibility as a human being to do these things where, when, and however you can. Finding your niche is up to you. Experiencing various types of social work can teach you what your gifts are, how to optimize them, and the best places and ways to apply them. My belief that there is a dearth of decent qualified leadership worldwide has never been a secret. I am convinced that one of the most promising strategies for bringing about positive change in our world is local action. Why? Because we have a head start where we live. We already know some of our neighbors, our businesses, our demographics, and our challenges. And what we do not know, we can learn if we are willing, astute, sincere, and determined. Solutions shaped at the local level through nonprofits, community organizations, and government provide immediate help to our neighbors and, from time to time, templates for adjacent communities and even for whole countries to adopt. While some aspiring leaders may see local social service and/or political positions as stepping stones to bigger and better things, dedicated local leaders who commit to staying can make a significant and meaningful impact both where they live and beyond. In fact, quality local leadership often steps up and serves as a safety net for communities that are underserved by our federal government. Everyman leadership training is there for the taking in social work settings. If you stick around long enough in the realm of public service and show yourself to be eager, you will meet some amazing mentors who will enthusiastically share their wisdom while helping you to uncover your hidden talents, grow your knowledge, and narrow your path. The one you will learn the most from will not necessarily have attained the highest degree or be the most experienced or even hold a leadership position himself. He will be the one who sees your potential and is patient enough to walk with you while guiding you toward a purpose befitting your natural gifts. As for leaders to emulate, look for intelligence, kindness, strength, ability to work well with others, and a faithfulness to good principles and values. Integrity, even-temperedness, honesty, and loyalty to service are all qualities that make exceptional leaders. If your mentor is full of useful information and lessons that she is eager to share with you, you have landed an ideal guide. However, there is also a pretty good chance that at least some of the people you look to for guidance will end up being full of baloney, all talk and dubious action. You can still learn from them, observe, and then ask yourself, what is it about the way that they operate that renders them ineffective? What are the qualities that make a leader capable? Famous American author and political commentator Molly Ivins said, "Listen to the people who are talking about how to fix what's wrong, not the ones who just work people into a snit over problems. Listen to the people who have ideas about how to fix things, not the ones who just blame others." If you take Miss Ivins' words to heart, as I do, you are among those who realize that the noise surrounding certain leaders is employed to cover up a lack of vision and to get you irritated about issues, both real and invented. Sometimes you will be told that a certain group of people, usually one that is already marginalized, is responsible for your problems. Other times, you will be led away from the real challenges that affect us all and toward wedge issues, which are solely intended to attract support from some while alienating others. When we fall for the okey doke, we are always left holding the bag. Manipulation is not helpful to anyone but the manipulator. Remember that. And remember that you can transform yourself into a leader that you can both respect and be proud of. You can then become an outstanding example to your community. Coretta Scott King, American author, civil rights leader, and widow of Dr. Martin Luther King, said, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." So if this is the yardstick and the goal, a leader, being the community's example, should first and foremost be compassionate. Our current Dalai Lama agrees about the utmost importance of compassion. He has said, whether you believe in God or not, does not matter so much. Whether you believe in Buddha or not, does not matter so much. As a Buddhist, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, does not matter so much. You must lead a good life. And a good life does not mean just good food, good clothes, good shelter. These are not sufficient. A good motivation is what is needed. Compassion without dogmatism, without complicated philosophy. Just understanding that others are human brothers and sisters and respecting their rights and human dignity. We all know that there is no such thing as a perfect human being. So while we must hold our leaders to a high standard, we also must realize that they are limited by their humanness. If you have the desire to lead but worry about your shortcomings, please remember that you do not have to be perfect. The most important thing is that you care. Compassion is contagious. When we are touched by it, we tend to pass it on. This is how it reaches the places it is most needed. There is an amazing side effect of social work involvement that I was unaware of when I first got started, but I understand it now. When you are compassionate, when you are helpful, showing empathy and loving kindness, people remember that. And some will even support you later in your leadership role or roles. It may be the people you volunteered with or interned for who saw that you were a compassionate and dedicated worker with enormous potential. Perhaps someone you helped out of a jam will attest to your decency, strength, and sincerity. Of course, when we offer our assistance to someone, we should do it because a fellow human is in need and because we have the means or knowledge to make a difference, not because we want something specific in return. However, since we are all connected, our deeds do come back to us in the form of karma. They just do. Social work puts you into contact with a lot of people. This network can often strengthen the foundation that your future will be built upon. In other words, the compassion you sow when you help others will also reap unexpected personal rewards. An effective leader does not necessarily need a massive following, nor, despite our preferences, does an effective leader need to be charismatic. True leadership means being a good steward and manager of the position and responsibilities you have been entrusted with. Charisma by itself does not take the place of honesty, trustworthiness, or competence. Being crafty at strategic manipulation might serve the leader well, but if it does not serve those she is supposed to be providing for, or it is used for ill, that leader should be rejected. When it comes to effective leadership, boring is not necessarily bad, despite what we have been led to believe. I will give you an example. I have always thought that my accent was boring. There is simply no spice to it, no added flavor or zing. It seems utterly flat to me. I am from America's Midwest, where the accent is no accent at all. I always thought having a regional accent would be so cool. When I was 10, we moved from Iowa to Florida. Within a couple of weeks, I tried to adopt a Southern twang, but Mom said, no dice. So I was stuck with boring. Fast forward 39 years, and I found myself assisting ESL students online. From the beginning, I received compliments and praise about how clear my voice was and how easy it was to understand my words. That has been the unwavering story for over 8 years now, so I have come to believe that it must be true. Each of us has gifts, even if we take a while to recognize them ourselves. Leaders need the right gifts, tools, training, knowledge, qualifications, and ethics to perform their duties. Whether the job is elementary school teacher or president of the United States. Serious people hired to do serious work are not always going to be folks you'd like to sit and have a beer with. Remember, who a person is always shows up in his actions and not necessarily in the stories he tells. Charisma is highly overrated, especially if it comes with an unhealthy dose of drama and chaos. Boring can be quite beautiful, especially if it leads to security and peace. An effective leader is adept at inspiring others to turn dreams into goals and goals into actions that bring about positive change for those he or she serves. An excellent leader not only implements plans, structures, and policies that strengthen her community, but she also teaches her team what she knows and welcomes input from those she works with and for. Remember, no man is an island. An effective leader understands that sitting in meetings, discussing plans with other talkers is only part of the work. Implementing the plans completes the work. When tackling an issue, it makes sense to put much detailed thought into a clear path forward, outlining where the project is going and how to get there. A leader's willingness to delegate tasks to trusted co-workers so that basic ideas and structures are put in place first lays the foundation for progressively larger concerns to be addressed. Steady incremental progress is always more effective than implementing an unwieldy plan that wastes energy, time, and money and generates a backlash, requiring additional cleanup. Yes, of course, a plan can always be adjusted along the way, but make no mistake, matters of great importance require plans, and concepts are not plans. Positive leadership qualities include vision, empathy, love, credibility, commitment, self-awareness, talent, and bravery. One cannot be a coward, nor cheap and easily bought with flattery. A dedicated leader serves at the behest of the people and is loyal to the people. He understands that a willingness to listen to and learn from others is necessary to arrive at the best answers to our problems. He knows that it is only through cooperation, collaboration, and compromise that lasting solutions which serve the people are forged. An effective leader embraces the art of working with those he does not agree with. He understands that conflicts will arise and is adept at doing his part to resolve them. There are infinite leadership roles that are waiting to be filled every day by just the right candidate. Teachers are needed in every single sector of life. To fulfill one's purpose, any purpose, it is essential to match one's talents up with one's principles. If we downplay or ignore either the talents or the principles or both, we pay some sort of price, often a watered-down version of our full potential. Integrity is essential for balance. And since we want our environment to be stable, we need our leaders to be stable. Unstable leadership results in unstable environments. Therefore, it is imperative that our leaders be people of integrity. Here, I am going to take some time to talk to you about the concept of integrity and what it means to me. Many folks have memorized that integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. And while that is simple and true, I prefer to delve into the actual definition for the best understanding of what it means to have integrity. Oxford Languages offers two distinct definitions, and both are nouns. The first is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Moral uprightness. An example sentence: He is known to be a man of integrity. But the second definition helps me to envision and clarify the first. The second, seemingly unrelated definition is the state of being whole and undivided. The example phrase they give, upholding territorial integrity and national sovereignty. When I am trying to figure out if I am acting with integrity, I conflate the two definitions. I ask myself, am I being honest and moral? But I also ask myself if I am being wholly myself, undivided. I think the second definition is just as important as the first because while I should be honest and moral towards you, I should also be able to maintain my own wholeness. So my talents or gifts should be used in a way that does not compromise my basic upright principles. This balance can be challenging for anyone to achieve, but a strong leader, as an example to others, must be ever aware and check herself regularly to avoid veering off course. A strong leader is not a bully by nature, but a problem solver, because true strength comes from a stable mind. Yes, of course, an effective leader fiercely advocates on behalf of her people, but bullies never make good leaders because they lack integrity. Their disconnect from right principles brings about instability and often a lack of impulse control. And those two traits in a leader can be very dangerous indeed for all of us. A solid foundation built on honesty, respect, and devotion to ethical principles is a must for those who would teach our children, for those who would guide our families, for those who would counsel and manage our communities, and for those who would lead our nations. An excellent leader is of respectable character, diligent, focused, and consistently committed to communication, education, progress, and above all, service. A person who lies to the people he works for or with, or turns them against one another, is a chaos agent. He lacks integrity and does not serve the people. How does one lead wisely? Wisdom is obtained through a whole host of experiences. This does not mean that a young person cannot lead or that an older person is necessarily more mature. But a wise leader understands that life is continuously changing. She is curious and willing to embrace innovative approaches to any complications that may arise. Because unique challenges will present themselves, a wise leader must possess the ability to adjust. Adaptable leaders embrace fresh ideas that bring about creative solutions. A fixed mind has no place in leadership. Since our world is dynamic, we must do our utmost to keep up with changes. Certain issues will surely rest while others will come to the forefront, but an effective leader does not allow overall stagnation to occur. A fluid mind inspires one to listen, learn, and accept new information, and then factor that new knowledge into decision making. Contrary to popular belief, a leader should be able to change her mind when presented with new information. It shows great strength. Those who never waver and never budge from their positions, even when presented with contradicting evidence, make weak leaders. Therefore, rigidity, while sold to the masses as strength, is an extremely detrimental leadership trait. A wise leader benefits from having had practical human experiences. Since it is her duty to provide proper guidance to all, especially to the generations who will inherit our world. Therefore, a lack of real-world experience renders a potential leader unqualified. Someone who has had his or her every mistake or evil deed swept under the rug or dismissed, who has never learned about consequences for making poor decisions or for preying upon others, is not an appropriate role model for everybody else to follow. For humans cannot learn and grow and become wise if they are never required to acknowledge their mistakes and correct their behavior. The reason is that there is always something valuable to be learned from. I messed up in this big way and I had to pay a price for my actions. Or even, I messed up in this big way, but someone showed me grace and understanding, so I only had to suffer partial consequences for my actions. But when one is never held to account for one's mistakes and bad deeds, a corrupt lesson is learned, and that is, I am special. I can do what I please. Others are placed on this planet to serve me. They are my pawns. I am a winner, and empathy is a weakness. Others are losers below me and not to be considered. These types of leaders are the worst and most dangerous kind. Their corrupt minds and actions poison our entire world. For we look to our leaders for guidance, and then we follow suit. So those raised in an environment where accountability was not required almost never make good leaders, unless they are willing to fight an uphill battle as adults to change their mindset by gaining practical experience and knowledge. Participation in social work can lead to this vital change, and those who are willing to try should certainly be given the opportunity. However, good leadership skills are exceedingly rare for the adult who has never had to atone for his errors and/or transgressions. Why is this so? It is because he has already passed through his most crucial time for development, birth through 8 years of age. During this time, the brain grows rapidly, creating millions of new connections. So, whom we become physically, emotionally, socially, and behaviorally is directly connected to our environment during these critical years. Our adult thinking and communication skills are inextricably linked to our first 8 years on planet Earth. The good news is that our world is chock full of people who have the potential to become outstanding leaders. And anyone, no matter her humble beginnings, or precisely because of her humble beginnings, can merge life experiences with social work experiences to positively transform her life and the lives of others. A volunteer who shows up with the compassion that comes from having encountered everyday concerns, fears, and chaos is already partially trained for social work demands. Community involvement teaches about solutions and gives opportunities to be a part of the process of finding answers that work. Respectfully, it makes little sense for the common man to simply hand over the reins of power to those who have led charmed lives, tucked away from the masses and their everyday problems. A person who has experienced an upbringing devoid of accountability has not had proper opportunities to become wise. Since such people have not had the experiences that most are facing or will face in their lifetimes, these limited sorts lack the empathy and understanding required to act in everyone's best interest. They cannot show the rest of us the way which is what leaders are called to do, because they do not possess the knowledge. We will stop there for today. I hope to see all of you for the final video in the series, which will focus on government leadership. Please do remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share this message. Namaste.